Gallagher.
Yeah.
Oh.
That thing was people.
What happened for the people out there that don't know?
Well, I did a podcast with Gallagher. You can get it if you get the app. You can hear that one. But I was in Portland, Oregon. I get an email from my manager, who got an email from his manager, who lives in Portland. Said he was in Portland. Would I have him on the show? Now I got to be honest with you. I didn't like that guy when I was old enough to like him, which is 10.
Yeah.
I didn't have. There was not a lot of love there. But that doesn't mean that as a relatively objective fan and part of the comic community, I couldn't put him into perspective in the sense that, he started with all the guys and, he was at the Comedy Store in the late 70s, and I thought there was an interesting story there. So I say, okay. So he comes to the hotel. I meet him downstairs. He's like, what are we doing? And I'm like, well, we're going to do a podcast. So like, is it live? And I'm like, no, I'm going to record it in my room. And then he tries to teach me how to steal coffee out of a conference room. Whatever. So we go up to the room.
That's him.
Yeah, and I'd read up on him. I'd read up that he's not smashing shit as much, and that he's doing a lot of gay jokes and a lot of jokes about ethnic people. So I tried to have a conversation. First I started talking to him about his place in comedy. And right away he's like, why does Jay Leno have a show? Why don't I have a show? I should have my own show. He screeches like this old queen.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
this old queen. And right away, I'm like, all right, I can handle this. I'm trying to wrangle him, but he's talking down to me. Almost immediately, he starts saying, comedians shouldn't drink water on stage. That's not a real comedian. A comedian doesn't need a notebook. And I'm like, so now he's shitting on everybody.
Drink water?
Whatever.
What?
So it's crazy.
What the fuck does that mean?
Hydrate yourself.
But I'm willing to sort of let the guy talk because I want, So then I bring up these accusations, that, he's being raped. And look, I got a little bit of flack, but I don't give a fuck what anyone says. I mean, you know me. I mean, my friends are Jim and everybody else. Look, if you can own what you say, say it. What do I care? Right. But I'm going to ask. I can ask.
Of course.
I'm not, I'm not politically correct in any way when it comes to language. So I bring this up, and then, right away he goes, they're not even my jokes. They're street jokes. And he starts screeching. And I'm not even pressing that hard. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to
get in his head a little bit.
Well, I'm trying to converse with him because he never shuts up. And he acts like he's teaching you a lesson. And then he starts going on about he says you're never going to play a state fair. And I'm like, who the fuck would want to play a state fair?
State fair.
Jesus Christ!
What year is this?
And he's like everybody, So
me in America.
Yeah.
But then he gets
like a gig in Sleepy Eye tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
I go on right after Horse with No Name. All right, see you, Gallagher.
And then I say, what are you angry about? I say, what are you angry about? And he goes, I'm not angry. And I'm like, you're the guy that smashes shit. I'm just trying to engage. And then about a half hour, and he goes, I'm not doing this. And he storms out of the room like a giant baby. And I just said, really, I'm not going after you. And then there was a moment where I didn't have to put this up either, but because it didn't make me look great either. But there was a moment there where I said, oh, come on, Gallagher, to nobody. You hear a door closing. But
it's good if someone goes to leave. You can just go get the fuck out of my house.
Yeah, right after the door slammed. But look, I put it up because I thought I don't think I look great. I could have done a little more homework. I tried to be as respectful as possible, but I was genuinely surprised that he stormed out. I mean, I could not understand it. But people who listen to it have one opinion or the other. A lot of people thought I was being some sort of politically correct police, which I wasn't.
What?
I don't give a shit. I really don't care what people say. And the truth of the matter is that when you say something, if shit comes back at you, that's part of saying something.
Yeah.
You're going to take your hits, but you certainly have the freedom to say it.
He did our show a few times. We loved having him on. He's very different. He's a very strange.
Well, because he's such a fucking
really
weirdo.
Strange.
And
he's curing cancer. He's building things.
Yeah, his inventions are just. He has a million of them.
I heard he lectures. I was at a couple theaters where he had performed, and I was like, they were like, we just had Gallagher here, and they were like. Yeah, he lectured the audience about metaphysics. And then when they didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, he started calling them all stupid. and then he took out the hammer at the end.
And then he gets his hammer out. He did our show when we were back at K-Rock. He did it here as well. And after the show, he sits in the hall for hours and just day trades. Doesn't go home.
Right, and he also has
even though his appearance was long, he
likes to school people. Yeah. He thinks he knows things. There's some weird thing apart about him. Like, I thought that if you listen to the episode, you get you know who that guy is. And I guess my pride got into it because I just couldn't believe that he was talking down to me on some level. And I knew he made a lot of money, and I knew that, he was this guy. But the weird thing about him is that the bane of his existence was that this hammer thing was this one bit he did. I think that it really sticks in his craw that it just caught on, and it was really just one sketch. And then it became who he is. But his whole argument that, like, I deserve this, I deserve that, because his whole premise is like, Jay Leno and David Letterman, they didn't go out on the road and sell tickets. I did. And my point was, well, that's what you chose.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's that.
You did your research because, he's known for smashing watermelon. Simple as that. And he might be a deeper guy, but none of us really know that.
So it would have been to that.
It would have done him done him right if he would have openly talked to you about all that.
I'd have him back.
Yeah, why not? Because that's what people really think. He smashes shit. That's all we know.
Well, I mean, that's why,
and that's all we care about.
And I think that's why he overcompensates with metaphysics and schooling people. And is that like he wants to be known as some sort of nuclear physicist?
That's the word. He wants them to know he's smart, and that's the most dangerous thing a comedian could ever have.
I'm smart.
Yeah, I'm smart too.
I'm smart. I was passed over by.
I'm not dumb like everybody thinks.
Now let me get the hammer.
We should get Roland in here because Roland says that Gallagher will never do our show again.
Well, Patrice called him out, right?
We had a great segment. Patrice going after Gallagher. It was terrific.
Saying that because Gallagher just be good. You're fucking racist.
He is actually
You're fucking racist.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not. You can't say that about it. I fucking heard some shit.
Yeah, Patrice wouldn't back down.
It was great.
At him.
Really, Patrice wouldn't back down? That's unusual.
Where are we at with Gallagher, Roland?
The last time was a while ago. I called him. He was at Walmart, and he said, "Stop calling me. You're killing me. You're killing me," and then hung up.
At Walmart?
Yeah, he was at Walmart.
What
working?
Wow. What position? God damn it! I was trying to get to it. God damn it!
DeRosa loses by a nose. That was a close one.
Sorry,
you guys bumped heads on that one.
Finishes
eye contact. I would have let you have it.
As they said, "Don't call me again. You guys are trying to murder me."
That's sad.
Wow.
He feels persecuted.
Yeah, he certainly, unless he literally thinks we're trying to murder him and walking around looking for our hit squad.
That's too
Did you see
bad.
the video where he collapsed on stage?
Oh,
Yeah.
3 weeks after my podcast, I got a lot of tweets for that one.
Oh, did you?
Look what you did to
They blamed
Gallagher.
you, right?
I was opening for...
Not his poor food choices. They blame you.
I opened for Patton Oswalt one time, and we were doing some theater. Gallagher was there like the night or 2 days before, and the stage manager picks us up, and we're driving out to the theater, and he's telling us, "Yeah, Gallagher was just here," and we're like, "Oh, that's cool, whatever." And the stage manager goes, "Yeah, funny story, man. In his rider, he has this thing that he needs a table, 4 feet by 2 feet." And he's like, "So I got him this table. It was this really nice Victorian table. It looked nice on stage." And he goes, but then he shows up, and I didn't know he meant he needed the table for the Sledge-O-Matic. He's like, "So I'm scrambling. I had to build him a table. I didn't know what to do. I mean, the guy should have specified. Why wouldn't he tell me that that's what the table was for?" And he's freaking out over the table. And Patton just goes, "Let me get this straight. You had a show where Gallagher asked for a table and you didn't know what it was for."
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And there was this awkward silence for the next 5 minutes. So just like, ooh, yeah.
Yeah, adult.
Look, I don't feel great about that interview, but I did what I could.
Well, did you feel like you were attacking him, though?
He always
It
feels
doesn't
attacked.
sound- I know, but it doesn't sound like
Walmart,
he
and
does.
he thinks you're trying to kill him.
Yes.
He's got this persecution complex, and he was impossible to talk to. But I just wasn't going to be filibustered and steamrolled. I was just trying to get him into some groove where we could have a conversation. But he was so guarded and weird.
It didn't sound like you had an agenda, though.
You can't.
You didn't have an agenda.
I had
It
a
was
little bit of an agenda. I had an agenda in the sense that I wanted to place him into the context of the Comedy Store in the late 70s.
Okay, well.
And then I did have the agenda of asking about this shift in his act. Because it's one thing to move away from a Sledge-O-Matic and do another type of comedy. It's another thing to all of a sudden, I'm getting rid of the Sledge-O-Matic and now all Chinese people have to die. Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying that that's his agenda, but I mean, it's a weird shift from the Sledge-O-Matic to, shitting on lesbians, Chinese people, gay people, and then saying like, well, yeah, I have a few black people at my show, so I don't do that. You know, but I mean, to put a can of water chestnuts on a table and then go, this is for the Chinese people, and then smash them. I mean, it's a little hardcore, and I wanted him to answer to it a little bit. So, yeah, I had an agenda in that way. Is that funny? Maybe I'm wrong. Is that funny? I want to hear putting a fruit salad on there. This is for the fruits. I mean, okay, it's still the sledge-o-matic, but I mean, it's a little bit heavy.
The number one fruit is the watermelon, so...
that's right.
You know.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
Think about it.
That could
Is
go
there
wrong.
are there I want to hear like a clip of racist Gallagher. I've never heard it. Is that something that's out there somewhere?
No, it's alleged.
I think we pushed him in that direction.
He's sort of racist.
There's an article in The Stranger. If you Google The Stranger, which is a Seattle paper, and Gallagher, that was the article I read. And my biggest mistake was not actually, I didn't have the examples in front of me, so it was sort of general, you know. But and that kind of pissed me off. If I would have just said, you know, what about this joke? But he still says like there's street jokes, and I understand that. But my issue is that if whatever's left of his audience, whatever's left of the people that still hold on to him as a great entertainer from when they were 11.
Yeah.
And now that they're still showing up and he is, you know, slamming Asians,
right.
and it's a little odd. Yeah, where does that come from? That was my only question. It wasn't like you shouldn't say that. It's like, where does it come from?
They're bringing their plastic slickers because they got front row tickets. And they're all like, and then they're just listening to a diatribe of racist jokes. You're like, wait a minute, where's the fucking...
One goes...
What is this for?
No Swicker's going to protect you against that.
He just takes out his cock and pisses on the first 3 rows.
That would be a good show.
Here's time for the plastic, yo.
That would be fucking great.
I would love that.
You brought plastic to see the fucking Noel Gallagher show, right?
Yeah.
Did you? How about this, you motherfucker? And just starts like Gigi Allen throwing his shit.
This is for the Jews.
Fast forward a year, the whole audience is in white sheets now instead of the plastic.
There you go.
Cheering for Gallagher.
There you go.
He to
We've
me
tried to get him back on the show. He has no desire to do our show.
He to me is like the worst kind of comic because he's one of these guys that is clearly a fairly intelligent guy. He seems like a smart guy. He does, you know, his wordplay and all that bullshit. You're like, all right, he's a smart guy. But he's the smart guy for that sort of rednecky crowd. You know what I mean? Like, he was never the smart guy for the New York or the L.A. or the San Francisco type audience.
That's why he plays state fairs.
Yeah, and it's like, and now he's angry because he wants everybody to declare him a genius. It's like, no, dude, you accepted that path, and like, that's where you're at now. That's it.
The other thing is that he's irrelevant. And the other, some of the input I got was like, why are you picking on Gallagher? And I can understand that. But you know, I didn't seek him out. But the fact is, he's just this old guy that's trying to hold on to something, and it's difficult.
I don't think you're picking on him. He's an angry man.
Mm-hmm.
He is a very angry guy, and we didn't even have conversations with him when he was on this show. What it was us talking and him interrupting with something so outrageously weird that we found it hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what? This guy's fucking out of his mind.
Like, what would he say, though? Like, what would he interrupt with?
We would be
Some of his
talking about,
inventions
if we're
and
talking about
stuff.
relationships.
X-ray machines.
Yeah. He'd be like, hey, you know what I'm working on?
Yeah.
And you're like, what? We were just talking about something. All right, Gallagher, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What would it be? And it would be some kind of like,
It's been a while, but it's been...
some kind of space thing.
Yeah.
So
A cure for cancer.
Yeah, he loves
does
cures
that.
for cancer and fucking machines that ionize water for
that's right.
like just bizarre things.
But he couldn't build himself a new act.
No. You know where all that shit... He could put a fucking car door on a tricycle to come out with on stage.
He just sucks.
So he could roll the window down.
He just sucks. I'm working on a giant big wheel for me to ride out in front of the audience.
Oh, well, look, he's got the giant couch and he's jumping on it. Wow.
He made a lot of money.
asshole.
A lot of money. Like, you know, tons of
Those
specials.
Showtime specials.
My brother liked
every
them.
week they were on.
Yep.
Dude, he did like 10 of those
Yes.
fucking things.
More than that, I think. What did you say? on
Anyone
there? How many
that would
specials did
have
he do?
gone to
I think it was
that
like 14.
Anyone that goes to a state fair to see Gallagher should just be fucking shot.
Well, I'm theorizing. Obviously, I don't know the guy, but I'm telling you, speculating. Maybe that's the thing. Yeah, but he's that guy. He's sitting there going, "Why am I not Carlin?" And it's like because because Gallagher, when Carlin was talking about pro-life and versus abortion in the 90s, you were fucking bringing out a hula hoop with springs on it. Or whatever.
13 specials.
13.
Wow.
Carlin only beat him by 2.
Damn, man.
Wow.
That's nuts.
That is crazy.